What's going on, guys? Master Shields here, Champions Martial Arts Center. This is Talk Tuesday, episode 15. On today's show, we have three great topics: how to shift your mindset, how to discipline your teenagers, and video games. Question number one is all about a mental mind shift. We've had tons of questions come in this week, and they all kind of fall under the same category of shifting your mindset, changing your thinking. You know, questions like, I need a mental mind shift, what do I do? How do I change my thinking from being negative to positive? My kids are always talking negative about themselves. How do I help them think positive? Tons of questions that revolve around your thinking. If you really think about everything, your brain is the biggest resource and the biggest muscle and tool that you have in your entire body. If your brain doesn't work, everything else stops functioning. Your brain is the engine that drives everything. You know, we have blood flow in different organs that are working, but when our brain doesn't tell those particular things to function, they stop. And so by understanding how to control our brain and how to control our thought process, we're going to ultimately be able to have a much fulfilling life, so to speak. And so the biggest thing that people always attach to a mindset is words. And one word that we tell every single person to forget. In my opinion, this is the worst word on the planet. Worse than any other word you could possibly say. In my opinion, saying the word can't is the worst word in the English dictionary. Because when you say can't, you are automatically telling yourself, your body, and anyone around you that whatever you want to accomplish or you want to have happen is impossible. So if I were to tell you, hey, I want you to do 1,000 push-ups, do 1,000 push-ups. You're probably watching this video and you're saying, Master Shields, that is physically impossible. I cannot do 1,000 push-ups. I just can't do it. But if we change our thinking and we say, how can I do 1,000 push-ups? If you go in there and do 100 push-ups every hour for 10 hours, you technically can do 1,000 push-ups. You know, a lot of times we tend to attach that word to things. I can't get a better job. I can't make more money. I can't beat this person. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't. And every time we do that, we are failing to try. You know, we all have heard the popular saying, it's better to fail, it's better to try and fail than fail to try. By saying I can't do something, you're not even giving it an opportunity to succeed. You know, you have to go out there and think like a little kid. Think about kids. If they want something, they're going to go and do anything possible to make that happen. I watch a show called Fresh Off the Boat, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. There's a kid named Eddie Huang on the show, and in one of the episodes he wanted the Shaq video game. Back in the 90s, it was a very popular game, and that's what he wanted, but his parents wouldn't buy it for him, and so he did everything under the sun to get that video game. From selling toys to washing cars to cutting grasses to doing whatever he could to make a couple extra dollars here and there to get what he wanted. So when someone says, I can't get a better job, well, technically you can. Apply for it. Well, I'm just not qualified. I can't get it because I'm not qualified. Well, go back to school and get qualified. Well, I can't afford to go to school. Okay, here's a mind shift that I want you guys to think about. If you want something bad enough, you'll do it, regardless. Think about if your kids want something, but yet you can't afford it. Maybe you're going to go and you'll change your cell phone plan to lower it because, again, you get an extra $50 a month, so you change how many minutes you have, or you change a data plan, so that $50 is now there to do whatever for your kids. But you're not doing what you need to do. You're not doing what you need to make happen to accomplish whatever goal you have. Change your mindset, change your thinking. Instead of saying I can't, say I can, or how can I? So ask yourself that question, how can I make more money? If you've never watched a YouTube video by Gary Vaynerchuk, you'll soon to become a raving fan of his. He's absolutely innovative. He's a genius in my opinion. He has a concept and a topic where it's mind-blowing and it works. People that say they can't do things because they don't have enough money, his idea is to go garage selling. Go out every Saturday, get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and go garage selling, buy video games, magazines, baseball cards, and flip them on eBay. You know, you buy a box of magazines for $1, and you sell them each for $3 a piece. You just made a ton of money from that one box of magazines. Think about video games and comic books. I recently saw a Spider-Man comic book being sold on eBay for $2,000. $2,000 for a comic book. Think about that. If your tuition costs you $800, you have that magazine or that comic book and you sell it, you're pretty much taken care of. If you need this money or you need something to happen and you made $2,000 from a comic book flip, you're pretty set. So rather than saying I can't do something, ask yourself, how can I? I'm a big believer in reverse engineering everything you do to change the outcome. If I want to get my black belt, how do I do it? Start at the very end. I get my black belt, and what's the backwards process? What do I have to accomplish to make that happen? Think about your life. How do I get better grades in school? How do I make more money? How do I be more successful? How do I do whatever? How do I insert problem, insert issue, reverse engineer? So I'm going to give you guys a challenge, and I'm going to give you guys something to try just for 24 hours, then try it for 3 days, try it for an entire work week, try it for a week, and then it becomes a habit and a pattern. I want to challenge you for one entire day, 24 hours, get rid of the word can't. Don't say it at all. All it is can with an apostrophe T. That's it. That's the word can't. Get rid of that. Stop saying that, because your mindset, your brain, your attitude, your thoughts control everything. We talked about this in a previous episode, where if you think about the most devastating, sad thought you could possibly think of, your attitude shifts. Your entire demeanor changes, because now you're so focused on that one thing. But when you think about the most incredible experience, the most positive outcome, the greatest thing ever, your attitude changes. Think about if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, it's such a horrible day, you know, it's this. Think about all the things that you said. It's a horrible day, negative. It's so hot, negative. I don't want to go to work, negative. Everything has been negative that you've been saying. Change what you're saying, change your words, because that all comes to your head. If I say I'm not good enough, that's you saying that. That's not someone else saying that. Well, I'm not pretty, I'm ugly. Somebody thinks you're beautiful. Somebody out there thinks you're perfect. So you're the one saying these negative self-talks. You're prophesying, in a sense. You're speaking these things into existence that aren't true, that have no value or no fact. You know, by saying I can't fit into these jeans. Well, maybe you technically can't fit into them right now, but if you reverse engineer it, if you do X amount of work, X amount of cardio, X amount of push-ups, sit-ups, and so forth, get into a fitness program, you can fit into those jeans. So everything you're saying that you can't do, I guarantee you can. If you say, well, Master Shields, I can't fly, that's impossible. Technically you can. If you hang glide, if you go in a hot air balloon, if you fly an airplane, you can fly. And then your rebuttal is like, well, no, I can't jump off of a building and just fly. Technically you can. If you have a rocket pack with wings, you could be an inventor that invents the first self-jet propulsion backpack that helps someone fly. Think about that. All the things that you can't do, you can. Someone who, think about when cell phones came out. You can't have a cell phone that when you touch the screen, that makes no sense. It's impossible. We've got them now, right? All the things that we thought were impossible. You can't have an electric car. You've got them now, right? All the things like that, someone changed their mindset. So try that. One day, 24 hours, do not use the word can't. Get rid of it. Don't say it. Ask questions. How can I rather than I can't? You're giving up. You're giving up before you even try. You're giving up before you even give something an opportunity to succeed. What happens if you got that job you said you couldn't get? What happens if you got those straight A's that you said you couldn't get? What happens if you listen to your parents the way you said that you couldn't do? What happens if all those things that were can't issues became I can solutions? Think about that. One day, 24 hours, do not use the word can't. Question number 2 is a tough question that so many parents face on a daily basis. How do I discipline my teenager? You know, with teenagers nowadays compared to when, say, you and I were teenagers, it's a completely different world with what they have access to, from Snapchat to Instagram to Facebook to text messaging to all those different resources. It's completely different now than it was, say, 20, 30 years ago. So there's a lot of things that we have to do in order to understand how to discipline our kids. You know, I try and tie everything into martial arts and training, and I get a lot of our jiu-jitsu guys asking us, hey, how do I defend an armbar? How do I defend a triangle choke? How do I defend this? And so you're asking, how does disciplining my teenager tie into Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Prevention. Prevent what's going to happen, and then you don't have to deal with it. Prevent the fire. You don't have to deal with the forest fire by putting it out. So preventing things is going to be absolutely imperative to having success with your teenagers in effectively disciplining them. So the most important thing is you want to stay involved. Stay involved in their lives. Don't be the out of touch parent, the parent that kind of watches from the sideline. Be involved. Let them know that you're involved and ask them questions. Be a part of their life. Find out what they're into. Find out their interests and really be active in their everyday life so they understand that, hey, mom or dad really care about me. They really want to know what's happening, because a lot of times kids are seeking attention and they're trying to get some sort of gratification from someone else, and so they do things to act out to cause bad behavior, which then, you know, causes punishment and causing this question to be asked. You know, so we can prevent them from doing that by giving them the attention that they want, by being involved in their lives, and by being there we can prevent things from happening. The next thing is you want to teach them responsibility. Teach them that their actions have, there's a reaction. So whatever they do, there is either going to be a positive reaction or a negative one. They're going to be punished or rewarded. You know, if things happen, you know, here's the outcome. Here's what could happen. You know, if things were to go this way, you know, here's worst case scenario, here's best case scenario. So teach them responsibility so they understand what's happening, because again, if they have the responsibility and self-awareness of the possible outcome of their actions, now they know what is good and bad and what to expect, and so we can prevent things by teaching them responsibility. Number 3, you want to be a good role model. A lot of times parents will say, hey, my daughter is dressing a certain way and she's doing this, you know, what do I do? How do I get her to stop doing this? Well, you kind of step back and look at the parent, and the parent's doing the exact same thing. You know, you want your kids to stop cussing and stop doing certain things. Well, if you're the one doing that, who are they getting it from? I had a friend back in high school whose parents were just raging alcoholics, and they would drink all the time, and he started drinking, and then he got in trouble and got arrested and all kinds of crazy stuff, but it all stemmed back from who he learned it from. You know, if kids are, even if they're teenagers, they're still learning from someone. They're learning what they're supposed to do, and they're learning behaviors from other people, whether it's their friends, their parents, role models, whoever. They're learning those things. So you want to be a positive role model and not someone that's constantly setting up bad examples. So kind of take a step back and look at, you know, look at yourself, look at people around you. What are the role models that your kids have in their lives? Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they the ones that are influencing them to, you know, do the things that they're doing to get the reaction that you're giving them? So number 3 is you want to really write out, number 4 is you want to write out and clearly define what's important to you, what rules and what's the standard. What are your goals for your kids, and have them understand that too, because if it's important to you, it should be important to them. You know, again, my parents were very adamant about me always saying yes sir and yes ma'am, and I knew that that's what they were, that was very important to them, and so that's kind of how I was raised and brought up. And so to this day, even if there's a parent that's younger than me or similar ages, I'm still saying yes sir and yes ma'am, or Mr. Johnson or Mrs. so-and-so. You know, I'm very respectful, because that's how I was raised, because that was important to my parents, and so that's what they instilled into me. So make sure you do that. Number 5 Be firm and consistent. Let your kids know this is the outline, this is the goal, this is what's happening, this is important. Be firm with that so they understand that. Be firm with their responsibilities. Be firm with the outcomes of things, what could happen and couldn't happen. Let them know. That's important. Be firm. Be consistent with your judgment. Be consistent with your punishments. Be consistent with your daily actions. Don't be involved one day. Be really, really involved, and then for the next week, you don't even acknowledge them. You want to make sure everything is consistent. If you're involved in your kid's life, be involved. That's going to be vital. It's going to absolutely change their world because now you're involved and you're constantly seeking out what are they doing, what are they into, and you're actively giving them the praise, the attention that they desperately want. So do that. Have clear goals, clear rules. Write them out. It's very important. So 6 and 7, have clear rules and put everything in writing so they understand. Here's my rules of the house. Here's what's supposed to happen. Here's what you're supposed to do. If you're here at our school, we have a defined set of rules. Our employees know it, our staff knows it, our students know it. For example, staff cannot date other staff members, staff cannot date students. That's a huge, huge no-no. It's never happened, but it's clearly there. People know that this is the guideline of what you can and can't do. There's certain words that people can't say within the school. There's certain things you can't do, certain things that aren't allowed within guidelines of social media. So there's so many things that are in writing. People know that. So again, they can't say something and say, well, I just didn't know. Because that's probably what your kids are going to do. They're going to act out and do something that they think is okay, but then that's not okay to you, and then you discipline and punish them, but then they're going to say, I didn't know that wasn't okay. So put everything in writing. Have clear rules, clear definitions of what those rules are, clear goals, and put everything in writing so they can clearly see it, and have them sign it. Have them sign it so now they're able to know this is my definition of what you are allowed and not allowed to do, and this is what I expect of you. And these are the repercussions of your actions if you violate these particular rules. Here's what's taken away. Here's what's worst case scenario, and so now they understand what's expected of them. So make sure that. So just to recap, number 1, stay involved in your life. That's very important. Number 2, teach responsibility. Show them what could potentially happen from their actions and judgments. Number 3, be a good role model. Number 4, make sure you define what is important to you. Number 5, be firm and consistent. Number 6, have clear rules. And number 7, put it in writing. We had 2 students. They're 17 and 18. They grew up within our school, and these are absolute phenomenal teenagers. The sister, she's a track all-star. She just won, I think, got 2nd place in state, just did amazing. She's a phenomenal athlete. Her brother is the same thing, another amazing athlete, just got accepted to Louisville. They're both phenomenal kids. They've got great parents, great role models that are actively involved in their life. They're in the trench with everybody else. They're out there where they have access to drugs and alcohol and all those other things. But these are 2 kids that don't do that because they have clear goals. They know what the outcome is. They know where they want to be. They know where they want to go. They have parents that are involved. They have positive role models, and these are kids other kids want to be like. And so it's not hard to create that. It's not hard to have kids do that. Kids are seeking attention. They want to have the attention from the opposite sex. They want to have the gratification from people. They want to have the acknowledgement that they exist. And so they're going to seek that from other people if you are not giving it to them. So make sure you're involved. Be actively involved in their lives. Be friendly but still be firm. Have fun but still be strict. Make sure you're the parent that you would just desperately want to have. Don't be the parent that's always scolding, the overbearing parent that's got your finger in their faces, constantly telling them what they're doing wrong. Don't be that parent. Be the parent that you would absolutely love to have. That's going to ultimately change your life, and you can prevent so many things from happening rather than trying to put out forest fires. Question number 3 is all about video games. What video games do you play, and what's your favorite system? Well, I've been playing video games way back since Atari came out. From Atari to Nintendo to Super Nintendo to Sega Genesis to Game Gears and Game Boys and all the you name it, I played them all. I love video games. I'm a video game junkie. I'm a comic book junkie, undercover nerd, all those fun things with video games. Don't play them as much anymore just because of time. I spend most of my time with my family and my daughter and here at the school. But when I do play, I like to play the Xbox. I like the PlayStation as well. They're both phenomenal platforms. They both have pros and cons of each other, that make one better than the other. I don't think that one is the superior system. I like them both. Predominantly, I play most of my online games, so to speak, would be on Xbox. I play Madden. I'm a huge football junkie. I love football, Ohio State Buckeyes, you name it, I'm always playing some sort of football game. I love sports, and so that's a big game that I play. Currently my record, my highest scoring game on Madden is 72-16. So if you want to test your skills and see if you have what it takes to beat me, you're more than welcome to try. I like to play Call of Duty, Halo, all the first-person shooters. Those are really fun too. So I'm gonna listen to this. I'm gonna offer you guys a challenge. If you want to play, in the past I've had Xbox challenges and different things where we played against students and so forth. And so I love to do it again. Let's do it again. So if you have an Xbox, add me on Xbox, mastershields 7. You pick the game, and if I have it, I love to play with you. I love to kind of have that challenge, and let's have some fun. So again, if you have an Xbox 360, Xbox One, whatever you have, add me, and I would love to play with you and just have some fun. So again, those are my games that I play, my thoughts on video games, and kind of how it all goes down in my house. So yeah, guys, until next week, you keep asking questions and I'll keep answering them.